Mm.
Welcome back to Sacred Success Salon, where we are talking about how to own your power, live your purpose, and claim your prosperity. I am your host, Anna Kowalska, and today I am really excited to introduce you to and have this amazing conversation, transmission, because I already know it's going to be Gaby Kowalski. Welcome, Gaby.
Woohoo! I
So
love
great.
this. I love that we've got the same surname. And except for I had to, we changed mine, to ski, because in Poland, for anyone that wants to know, there's always an A at the end of a female surname.
Yep.
And so my dad's surname is Kowalski. I was Kowalska in Poland, but when we came to Australia, they were like, no, just choose one. And so we have the same surname.
Yeah. So I can actually
Just in case
say
you're
it.
wondering, yours is just legitimately, you kept the Polish version. It's so great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so great to have you. Let me just say a couple of words about who you are, Gaby, so our audience knows who you're listening to, who you guys are listening to and why, because it's so important. So Gaby is a 5D visionary. She's a self-made millionaire and a founder of Gaby Kowalski Global and Oneness Foundation. She does a tremendous amount of work in dimensions, and what I asked Gaby to talk today about, and let's see what shows up, is to talk about prosperity and how we are changing our relationship with prosperity as we are shifting to different dimensions. So the rest of the bio is under the video. You can read more. Let's get into the juicy stuff now, okay? Yeah, so let's talk about, I know our audience is familiar with 5D, but so many still question how to move from 3D to 5D with money and prosperity and abundance.
I love that. And just before we go in, I want to just take this moment to have a little bit of permission. There'll be certain times throughout our transmission today that you might see me move my hands and do this kind of stuff. It's not that I'm shooing away flies. There's no flies in this room. I am working in the quantum, and it's coded hand light language. And so it's literally reconfiguring and sharing codes and templates into the field with you and your soul at a multidimensional level. And I may make some toning sounds or speak some light language. I may even be halfway through a sentence. No kidding. The dog went, and then I'll start speaking light language, and then I'll finish the sentence, because this is a multidimensional conversation. In order to serve at the highest, this is also fifth dimensional language, where it's not. Fifth dimensional language is multidimensional. It's serving all versions of ourselves, and it's working beyond the physical realms of existence and beyond the 5 senses of the third density. And so with your permission, if I do any of this, and then just receive, and inviting everyone to breathe into our hearts through our nose and out through our mouth, and to really receive this, through our heart consciousness, because the path from third densities, 3D templates and codes and infrastructures and programming around affluence, abundance, prosperity is through the heart field. The heart consciousness is able to fully be in the moment of now and receive so much more data than the mind can. And so one of the pieces around our shift is heart activation and working in unison, allowing the mind to go back to being a tool, which is what it always was. Yet somehow along the course of history, we got programmed to believe that our mind is us, that our thinking is us, yet it's actually a tool. Think of it more like a hammer or a bowl. And that doesn't mean that it's not an important tool, or even to look at it more like a hand. My hand is not all that I am, yet it enables me to pat my head and do other things. And so one of the pieces is this, it's heart activation, and really allowing ourselves to activate more of our heart consciousness, and to also activate our womb consciousness. I know there's a lot of women here, and even if you're a beautiful man listening, men, you have energetic wombs, and so our journey to letting go with the density infrastructure, a lot of it is very much still anchored into the mind. So as long as we're mind dominant, we will choose by default third dimensional consciousness, because third dimensional consciousness is structured within duality. It's black, white, and the brain, the mind is able to play with that really, really well. So the mind and third dimensional infrastructure go hand in hand. As we evolve, It's the heart consciousness, the womb consciousness, the gut consciousness that's enabling us to access higher dimensional consciousness templates of experiencing life. And so I, like, think of it like this. Even if you're listening right now and maybe you don't maintain a higher consciousness, all of us have had the experience of being in a state of maybe meditation or just a state of bliss where we're in that moment truly within the frequency of love. We're in that moment, there's not a worry in the world. We're not thinking about the future or the past. We're in this moment of now, and we feel like everything's possible. And that is heart consciousness. That is us being within the consciousness of the heart. The mind has kind of had a nap at that point. And I also want to say here too that it's not about poo-pooing the mind. I see people push away their mind, tell their mind to shush, or it's not about rejecting the mind. It's simply embodying more that the mind is a tool. It's something that we can, it's something that helps us process and collate data. And yet when the mind and the heart consciousness work together, they're able to process so much more data, which means that we can actually receive more abundance. So all the abundance around us, we can experience it in our atoms. And that's what then leads us into embodying more light, expanding our light quota, and holding a frequency where we access and create realities that are a lot more affluent and abundant. Yet it is this journey, one of these pieces is getting that our mind is not us. It's a part of us. It's a tool. And we can ask it to have a break. And we can practice this and do more heart activations. That's one of the answers.
Yeah, so great. I love where you just took us. And it's actually, I hope you guys are experiencing this. It is palpable in my body. Yeah, the experience of expansion. So I love when you were just speaking to, give your mind a break in whatever way we do, and then open to receive more, right? So easy to say, but something about it just clicked in a different way. It's all around us. It's already here, right? Like we love that idea that it's all around us. It's already here, right? Okay, great. I'm telling my mind, listen, I'm safe. Everything is great. You don't need to protect me right now, right? It's great to do whatever. Just be an observer, right? I got this. And then what? Because then people want to know usually, right? And then what do I do?
Yeah, it's beautiful. This is the next piece to it is, well, to be honest, it's receiving 5th, 6th, 7th density templating. I want to talk about templates and codes for a moment, just in case the terminology is foreign to anyone listening. And if it's not, if you're like, yeah, I know what a template and a code is, listen with new ears, cool? Like, please hold space for everybody else, because we're a big group collective, and just to not leave any woman or man behind. And so I want to talk about templates for a moment. A template is literally a living consciousness technology. And within our subconscious, think of it like a program. A template is a big, beautiful sacred geometry architecture in the quantum, and it is filled with codes, which are data bursts. And depending on the form of the template, like, we are filled with templates. Everything about us is codes and templates. And when we upgrade, when we go through ascension, we are literally, some of the codes will evolve, grow, and it's not that we're removing codes and adding codes in. Some of them literally transform and become the next version of themselves. Sometimes we either will deactivate a code inside of us or remove a code. And same with templates. I want to talk about templates because the template is the operation system. And when we look at templates for abundance within our field, we first look at the templates of abundance that are within the collective consciousness of this planet, because the collective consciousness of this planet runs the sort of majority, the hard drive operation system, I guess you could say, of the experience on Earth. Which means that if we're not conscious, sovereign, if we're not choosing to activate our own column of ascension, unplug from the collective consciousness and be a sovereign being, we can find ourselves then copy pasting or plugging into the templates within the collective. Does this make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that means that we need to know what's there. And so what's within majority of the collective is still a lot of third density. A lot of people are still very much driven by their mind. They think their mind is them. And there's operational systems, templates of third density around abundance. Now, a template that's birthed from third dimensional infrastructure will always have duality in it, because 3D is dualistic. We think that we live in a dualistic universe, but we don't. Only when we're in third density do we live in a dualistic universe where there's good, bad, white, black, does this make sense? And we know this because every time we're in our heart consciousness, soul frequency of now, we don't experience duality. So every one of us has had this experience at least once where we've experienced beyond duality. So we know it's not a permanent infrastructure of our universe, right? Yet in third density, a lot of the collective consciousness is running the operation templates of 3D abundance. 3D abundance, though, because it's dualistic, even if someone and by the way, I'm talking like literal abundance. So let's look at abundance in money. If we take money abundance, someone can create like physical money, right? They could have a multi-million-dollar business and actually have, not just on paper, but actually have, the money flowing in. And they could have, $500,000 cash in their bank accounts and a few investment properties and, whatever, right? Yet with third density consciousness, what happens, the templating that runs that, the codes within it are always working within duality. So what happens to someone is that they'll create it, they'll enjoy it for a week, a month, and then they want more. Then they see something bigger. Then they're looking at billions and they're comparing themselves to billions, or they're afraid to lose it. So then they start to hoard it, or they will blow it all, wanting to experience. And usually when people blow all their wealth, it's because subconsciously they want everyone to see that they're successful. There's just all of these codes that are tainting the abundance experience. So either people hoard their money, keep it a prisoner, and actually don't live abundantly. I mean, like really, this happens. So maybe it's you. Maybe you're like, oh crap, I have imprisoned my money, or they'll spend more than they'll spend it all and then build liabilities and then have to keep everything going to keep the whole thing running, and then end up quite often. This happens a lot in third density. So the first thing we want to do is get that is literally the programming of the consciousness of like the general consciousness. And we want to daily unplug. And literally, like on YouTube, if you look me up, you'll see a free column of ascension activation where I literally teach you how to activate your own column of ascension. And in it, we choose to see an energetic cord and unplug it out of the collective and plug it into source. Not even to our soul, we plug it into source, And when we do this, we're able to discern and be in our own frequency. Then we're able to download and upload and receive from our soul family, from the beings of light, higher templates, higher operational stuff that's more in soul alignment. We've also, a lot of us that are, ascending and we're taking this journey, actually all of us, have been coded, our DNA is coded with light codes and templates because we came here to transform with Gaia. And so just by doing this, we already get to start activating our own codex within our field, and we're not plugging into the big mothership anymore, the hard drive. We're operating as our own individual, unique fractal of source consciousness and choosing. And then from there, the next piece is to consciously choose to receive, ask for, and call into our being and into our field templates that are higher than that, templates of fifth density, sixth density, seventh, eighth. As we shift into fifth dimensional consciousness, it's not just 5D templates that are running the show. We've got sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, that are supporting just like in third density, we've also got access to fifth density. Like we do have access, we've always had access. It's more that we're stabilizing fifth as the base and then playing even further up. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So the biggest difference though is looking and discerning what is an operational template, because we could go and do someone's abundance course, yet they could literally be feeding us with third density templates. They could be higher realm third density templates and they could feel really good, yet they're still coded with duality. Does this make sense? Yeah. And so the fifth density templates are not coded with duality. So when we look at the differences in the third density, even when we look at dimensional consciousness, right?
Mm-hmm.
In third density, there is a perspective that's experiencing two things. Because if we go back all the way to one density is just one.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm in one density, I'm literally just, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
Then in two density, you show up and it's you and me. And we're just like, and in third density, there's a perspective that can see the two. And this is where it was able to see two different things and duality was born. And then in fourth density, we change that because in third density, we experience duality and we experience time and space.
Mm-hmm.
So time and space became two different things. In fourth density, a fourth perspective came and it actually witnessed that time wasn't a thing. Time didn't actually exist and timelessness can be experienced, which means in fourth density, we experience everything happening at the same time. It's all happening now. And so therefore, every version of us, through the quantum is experienced in fourth density consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
In fifth density consciousness, there's a fifth perspective that can look at all of it and unify it all even more. So as fourth density unifies time and space, fifth density unifies time, space, and everything within it, and no longer sees it as something different, yet sees it more as a family. Does this resonate?
Resonates with my dog.
Yep, and mine too. Our little doggies are resonating beautifully.
He recognizes there's a lot more available for him in a different dimension.
That's right. Our dogs are performing some beautiful animal coded light language for everyone. What's his name? What's your dog's name?
Mikey, and he makes an appearance almost all the time. Like you guys have heard him before. He always has something to say. So it's really great.
I love that.
Yeah, so great. Mm-hmm.
So where was we? Calibrating that. And so ultimately what that means though, is we're shifting into being able to receive it all without comparison, without contrast, without, like I'm talking, this is in fifth density templating of abundance, there is no success. There is making my dreams come true.
Yeah.
Success will always need something to compare itself to, a benchmark, a measure. Making my dreams come true is just making my dreams come true. Do you feel the difference?
Yeah,
and then,
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And even in our languaging, it's not like, how to be successful. It's how to make our dreams come true, regardless of what they are. And in fifth, dimensional templating of abundance, we don't create to please others, to be accepted, to belong, to be enough, and to be famous and successful. We just don't. None of that stuff matters anymore because we don't need it. In fifth density abundance, we're literally so tuned in to who we are that we're co-creating with our soul and our soul family, and we're not even looking at what's going on out there, which means we get to create beyond possibility, beyond possibility. We're no longer looking at what's possible. We're no longer looking at what others have done before or trying to be a little bit better than it. We're actually able to create realities that never existed before because we're not looking out there. It's all coming from within us, and that's when it gets delicious.
Yeah, so great. I love that you brought us through the different dimensions, because for anybody who might have still questioned or heard, this is the fifth dimension, it grounded us in, okay, this is exactly what we're here to experience. So great. So with this that you just shared, let's make it a little practical, right? Because I love bringing practical aspect to everything that we do. First of all, I love that you shared, because sacred success, it's about that. It is about creating, it's about merging the physical reality, which is something that we are actually physically experiencing, which is still where we are, and bringing in the mystical, bringing in the different dimensional, right, experience, and grounding it in physical experience. I mean, I still love having my physical things around me. So when we're talking about creating based on no comparison, right? Creating based on no, just true desire of the soul, right? Because that's what we're talking about, true desire of the soul. And that's what sacred success stands for, right? It's true desire of the soul, creating what I was here for, what I was here to express, what spirit wanted me to experience through me, right? When we talk about that, where does it, I want to ask you in a way that it actually serves our audience too, because I know I can take it places, but I want to make sure that it serves all who are here. So in the world right now, great. I'm glad you're doing what in the world right now, there is a certain experience, right? Economic experience that a lot of people are having. And I know that we don't need to be plugged into that. We can actually experience it in a completely different dimension. Can you speak to people who are still in a conversation of, yeah, but in order for me to have, somebody has to buy. And if people are in a conversation of scarcity, who's going to buy it?
And this is where we also get to choose, right? So I kind of want to share something, because first, the very, very first step is to get that. When we plug into the collective consciousness, we're plugging into the realities that the collective consciousness is creating. And I think what's really important is fundamentally understanding our universe. And this is more of a fourth dimensional. What I'm about to stream is more fourth dimensional consciousness for a moment, because there is a 4D bridge open, and we're not going 3D to 5D. There's 4D templates that are taking us there. And if any of you have ever experienced me share this before, you get to experience it again. And if any of you haven't, I feel like this will serve.
Great.
So I'm going to draw something.
Yay! Awesome. I love show and tell.
Yeah.
I'm visual, so.
Me too. And so most of us have been hypnotized to believe that there is one earth, one reality. And because of this hypnosis, whatever we see outside of ourselves, we can easily buy into, and then the mind processes the data and feeds us more hypnosis of this is real. And then try as you might, you can't talk yourself out of that reality. You will be stuck in it because you believe it's real. And you're like, but it's real. I can touch it. It's there. And so what supports us to not get stuck in realities is to understand what's actually going on, what universe we live in. And the universe we actually live in is not one earth, it's countless earths. And we're literally shifting in and out of countless earths constantly. Every millisecond, we're moving through millions, sometimes billions of different versions of earth. Motion. This is literally me moving, being able to do this. Like, think of it more like the quantum now is still shots. So, best way. You know when you pull out a camera, like a video camera roll, and you see still shots, but yet when you run them together, it creates a movie. So imagine that every still shot frame is a reality. It's an earth, and we're moving in and out of them. Our frequency will shift us. This is why when we're in a beautiful frequency, we get all the car spots, the sun is shining, we've got really good hair, we're funny, we're great in bed, all the good things are happening. But when we're not in a great frequency, we find ourselves being late, stuck in traffic, stuck in queues, not funny, our hair's doing a woo-woo thing. And it's because we've literally shifted into a different reality. Now, this is huge, because when we fully embody this knowledge, one second, as I've got a little puppy, if you can just, come here. I don't know if you can hear her. She's having a great time tearing up a bunch of things.
Yay.
Are you tearing things? I'm just going to ask her to just kindly stop that while I continue. Can you hear her tearing stuff, or is that not coming through?
No, it's fine. I hear her little feet on the floor. That's about it.
Awesome. So let's receive that as coded, beautiful doggy language. She's gone back to her thing. All right. So ultimately, this is the deal. Say the collective consciousness on Earth is oscillating between these three Earths. Doop, 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 doop. And they're literally plugged into them. They're programmed by media to keep running the narratives. They're literally being programmed. And this is like a bit dark, but this is literally what happens. Humans get hypnotized to their mind is a computer. Images get projected into it, and they're literally being programmed to think things and perceive things. And they keep thinking this is going on. Then, because every one of us is a god and goddess of light, they're actually birthing these worlds. This is how you create realities and timelines of your choosing, by brainstorming, by, brainwashing the collective to create those realities. Now, if we plug into that and we end up on the merry-go-round with them, is what I'm saying. So then we're like, oh, but these people don't have money and I don't have money. Now, what if instead we get that that's not the only set of realities available? In fact, this piece of paper could go eternal. And we go, well, there's lots of people with money still on the planet. Yes, there's some people without money, but you know what? There's always been realities with people without money. This isn't new. There's always been there's been people that live on less than $1 a day for most of our world. Like most of this world is not affluent, but these worlds are. And so this is where your clients don't live here. They live here. They live in different alternate realities from the collective. This is the important part. So when we plug out of the collective grid, then we start to create our own. Then we start to dream new worlds into reality. Then we start to spend more time in our inner self, definitely not looking at media, not looking at what's going on out there. And by the way, so many people are going to come to you because they're plugged into this, and they'll tell you shit that's going on in these realities. See it like this. If your mum and dad tell you, oh, this has happened, then go, okay, that's what's going on in mainland. Call it something else. Give it another name. Okay, that's what's going on in mainland right now. And build yourself an island.
So good.
Does this resonate?
Yeah, this is so great. Yeah.
And then here we call, now here's the beautiful part. When we do this, we then build bridges. We build bridges from this reality to these realities. We're actually, by creating new realities, anchoring into them, and we build bridges. So when we say create content online, we're then creating these quantum bridges. And these people, if they're ready, their souls will take them to us. Not even just for our offerings, but because we can give them a bridge out of mainland, and we can help them shift into a universe that's so much more loving, so much more awesome. Does this resonate?
Yeah. This perfect.
This is so important, because if we don't get this, then we're going to continue getting, it's like the energetic cord, and it doesn't matter. You could literally upload, you could receive 5th-dimensional templates and codes on abundance. Yet if we're still plugging into the main, then we're uploading back again. And it's not that the course or the person, maybe like you did a course and you felt really good for a while. And it's not that the course didn't work, it's the understanding of this fundamental part of the universe. And this is what it means to really be embodied in 4th-D consciousness before we get to 5th-D consciousness, that we understand the quantum now, and we understand that there is parallel alternate universes. Then we understand that there's beyond possibility. We can see the timelines and realities, and then we know that there is no end to what can be created in the quantum. Everything exists in the quantum, everything. I'm talking vampires, dinosaurs, whatever, everything exists. Everything that we have ever imagined exists in the quantum. Some people say to me, why are there realities that are so dense? Why is there hardship and pain? Because there's humans being gods and goddesses that have thought shit before. We've created these things with our fears, with our worries, we've created these realities. And what it really means to choose 5D, to leave the 3D worlds behind, is to unplug from them. And for some of us, we do this daily until the cords stop reconnecting automatically. And it's a daily choice.
I'm so glad you said that, because this is exactly what I just heard. First of all, wasn't this an amazing, really grounded way of explaining it? Things that I'm sure we've heard before, but the way you just explained it, Gaby, it was so clear. And I can already hear, and I want to hear from you guys in the Facebook group or respond to the email. Let us know. I can hear you getting it in a whole new way that you have ever before. And it's really great. And I heard you say that choice. And for some of us, it will be a daily choice until it doesn't have to be. But you're so right. Some people will take a course and I'll be like, oh my God, it didn't work. Oh my God, it worked for a moment. And I manifested, $20,000 a day, and yay, yippee. and then nothing, right? They go back to being plugged into the reality that probably their neighbors or their family is still plugged into.
Yep, their
Yeah.
neighbor came along and said, here's a plug. Did you hear what happened? Here's a plug. As soon as we take that plug, we plug into scarcity.
Yeah, I love that you say that. And it's so, again, daily choice. And it may actually, I often even say it's even more than daily. It's a choice moment by moment, right? Moment by moment, choosing to be plugged into something different. And now we have this amazing visual. You guys literally can visual. Okay, I am plugging into this earth that has this kind of reality. So it's so amazing. So we're coming close to the end of our time. We have a few more minutes. I know it goes by so quick. But what you brought in, Gaby, I really appreciate, because I know that our audience gets these concepts at a certain level. But I feel like what you just explained is really grounded. It's grounded. Like, it gives us access to really, like, for our brain to start adjusting to it. Really powerful. So great.
And this is actually like one of the pieces of conscious evolution, mind evolution. It is giving the mind the pieces for it to feel safe, and then it will go have a nap. Whereas if we like, it's asking our mind, what do you need in order to feel safe, in a higher dimension? What do you need to feel safe, to unplug out of 3D? Unplugging out of 3D, unplugging out of here can be really scary.
Yeah.
It's everything we ever knew, to even, I want to like just finish off, if that's okay, with these last couple of minutes, that when it comes to business, I know that so many of you are beautifully building your gorgeous mission empires of light, which is what I call business. And because I don't believe it's business anymore. Business is a third density construct. If we're evolving and we're ascending, we're actually creating mission temples of light in the quantum. We're anchoring a whole new codex where we're stabilizing light codes, and we're offering people bridges into higher realities. And you can't call that business yet, just to anchor this through, because if we are, if we're truly building these beautiful businesses, and we want to anchor into this moment of knowing that we're the ones that have the opportunity to lead. Business owners truly do get to lead. They get to shine a light. They get to embody everything that they're giving to the world. And I know many of you that are on here share and teach, and you're healers, and you're sharing content, you're doing beautiful things, you're doing things like this as well. And I just want to invite you to feel really good about the fact that that means that you do unplug out of the old world, that you do take the journey to gently, lovingly unplug, and know that you didn't come here to thrive in that old world. You didn't come here to succeed in 3D. You actually came here to build a new world. You came here to be a puzzle piece of the new world, because every single one of us is part of Gaia. Gaia is made up of the minerals and the water and the trees and the animals. If you take away all the elements, and if you take away us, there is no Gaia. We are Gaia. As we ascend, that's how Gaia is ascending. And it does mean that we want to take the courageous path of leaving those realities behind, choosing to even be alone for a moment until more tribe comes in around us that can resonate with us. It can be scary. Yet if you're here, it tells me that deep down inside, you're a leader of light. You want to shine your light, even if it means you stand alone for a moment until others see your light and walk the bridge towards you. And more people leave these infrastructures where they're not happy. We came here to build bridges and to stand with light so others could find it and leave those realities and come into a set of realities that were always available to them. And then humanity gets to thrive, be free, happy. There's no more suffering anymore. That's what I wanted to share.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. What a beautiful vision. Thank you. Thank you for speaking it into the space so we can all connect with it and start co-creating it, continue co-creating it from that place. So amazing, Gaby. I know you have a gift for our audience, and you guys know it's the button below this video. Could you tell them what's behind the button?
I love that. What's behind the button? There's a beautiful channel transmission behind this button that goes deeper. It's called the Codex of Higher Dimensional Abundance, a pathway to really creating alternate universes, alternate realities and worlds outside the collective grid. And it takes you on a journey to learn more. Like, it's a couple of hours long, so it's definitely longer than this piece. And it continues this conversation, taking you on a journey to really identify and discern what is third density, fourth density, and fifth and beyond density templates for creation and abundance. So then you can see it from a mile away and be really discerning with what you receive into your field from the world. And two, we're going to, there'll be a channeled activation. I work with this, my soul families from the 12th dimension. We're working with these beautiful beings that are sharing light codes and 12th dimensional frequency light codes to support a whole new templating architecture. You'll be going into the quantum and literally meeting the goddess of higher realm abundance. This is a light being who'll be sharing in the quantum very individually and also as a group with you the templates and memories for you to remember lifetimes you've had in advanced civilizations, where you can start to remember what it means to anchor abundance in a higher plane. So we're literally connecting to any lifetime you've had in a golden age of existence in Avalon, Maya, Atlantis, Lemuria, ancient Egypt, and you'll be calling back from your own oversoul network. You'll be calling back your own memories, your own templates, and this is activating your DNA, stabilizing it, and then of course you continue unplugging from that mainland and continue the journey of embodying more light quota. There's lots more to it. We're also, I ask you to receive this because we're through this, we've built a grid all over the world. Every single person that receives this initiation is literally holding a light codex and holding their own light templates, and a grid is formed around the planet. So when you receive this, you join the grid, and we're literally regridding the whole digital world and the physical world to remember that abundance is all there is, to remember that all scarcity was never meant to be a part of this, game. Like, we came to Earth because we knew we could create what we wanted. So yeah, press the button.
Press the button. So great. Oh my gosh. Even the description was so abundant. Make sure you press the button. It's a golden button too, so it's so fitting.
Is it? I love it.
Press the golden button, receive, and start learning how to unplug and plug into exactly what it is you want to create. Oh, so amazing, Gaby. Thank you for bringing your wisdom, your wealth, and everything that you are here to deliver. Thank you for doing your work in the world. It's so important right now. Amazing. So in tune and in alignment with what we stand here for. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. And thank you, everyone. Big hugs from myself and the two little puppies. Thank you, Anna.
Oh, thank you for bringing your puppies too. It's such a gift. Awesome. Thank you. And we'll see you at the next conversation. Bye for now.
Bye.